Alright, welcome back to an episode of the 3 Count. I'm War Machine MJ, the face of the 3 Count Mafia and greatest second place champion. And I'm here today to talk about Monday Night Raw. Well, the first Monday Night Raw post draft. So yeah, very mixed bag, if you will. Interesting to note on the show, there were no women matches or segments on here. I mean, most of the women are out and away due to the upcoming Crown Jewel event. Of course, they only had, I think they said Sarah Logan and Dana Brooke on hand for main event tapings. That was it. So yeah, most of them are down in Australia. Anyway, so yeah, Monday Night Raw was a complete sausage fest. And speaking of sausage fest, we kicked off the show with Ric Flair. Yeah, he was going to announce his final member for Team Flair, and he just... yeah, he seemed like he couldn't care less because he was just... well, I shouldn't say care less. He just seemed like he was having too much fun to actually, take it seriously, because he was messing with the fans, talking trash about Cleveland, mocking the Browns for losing some of their best players, all that good stuff. So he announces the final draft pick. He announces his final team member in Drew McIntyre, who then proceeds to say that his match against Ricochet is going to be very uncomfortable. And they had their match next, and this was a really good match. They gave this match a ton of time. Of course, Ricochet couldn't get the W. Because, yeah. He just beat the absolute hell out of old Ricochet, even throwing him into the post, not like, running him, just like literally threw him into it. Anyway, he connected with the Claymore. Afterwards, he continued to beat the hell out of him after the bell, because he threw him into the ring post again, hit his old Future Shock DDT, and of course, reverse Alabama slammed the man onto a set of ring steps. Afterwards, Ric Flair called out Hulk Hogan for SmackDown. Whoop-de-friggin-do. Next, we had shenanigans with Aleister Black, who is still looking for people to pick a fight with him, as he took on Jason Reynolds. Some enhancement talent. Of course, Aleister Black picked up the victory, with the Black Mass. So, yeah, no surprise there. Next, we had King's Court with Jerry the King Lawler. Oh, yeah, by the way, shut the hell up, King. Or shut the hell up, Jerry. God, such a pain. Anyway, had King's Court with Jerry Lawler, and of course his guest was Rusev. And Jerry was pretty much asking about this whole Rusev is losing his wife to another man. And Rusev just basically said, "Oh, Lana, she doesn't know what she's doing. Bob Lashley now, that's the guy that is doing all this, and I'm going to crush him for it." So while Rusev, was making his declaration, the aforementioned Lana and Booty Lashley were on the screen as they were enjoying a nice restaurant. that Lana apparently had always had a dream of going to. Doesn't really make sense. Anyway, she was mocking Rusev, saying, "I begged you to take me here, but you never did." So yeah, Lashley's tending to that, and Rusev's like, "Enjoy your dinner. BRB gonna beat up Booty Lashley." So he walked off to go hunt them down. Next, we had Andrade taking on Sin Cara. Of course, we haven't seen Sin Cara since, since ever, really. They were saying he's been MIA because he was helping out in El Paso after the unfortunate tragedy that took place there a couple of months back. And so, yeah, they put Sin Cara back on TV, and what they do? Put him in an absolute barn burner of a match with Andrade. This was fantastic. They gave this match a ton of time. Sin Cara looked hella impressive as he never has been before. He even hit a top rope powerbomb. Just he was like a house on fire. And of course, he lost to Andrade after some shenanigans from Zelina Vega, who hit a handstand, handstand hurricanrana off the apron. So yeah. Anyway, Andrade followed up with a hammerlock DDT to put away the Faceless One. Of course, backstage was Humberto Carrillo, who was watching the match. He got interviewed, and he was so natural on the mic. He talked up both Andrade and Sin Cara, and then he made a sly little pot shot at Seth Rollins. Basically saying, eventually he wants to become a champion, and he doesn't know what kind of champion he wants to be, but he's not going to be a champion that plays with fire. So, ooh, burn. Next, we had more shenanigans in the 24/7 division, as R-Truth was getting distracted by Samir Singh. All the while, Sunil Singh rolled up R-Truth, and R-Truth was bewildered because he just lost his 24/7 championship to a pack of clones. Of course, he tried to sneak up on one of the Singh brothers, but it turned out he got the roll up on Samir Singh, who is not the 24/7 champion. That allowed Sunil Singh to run away. So yeah, Sunil Singh of the Bollywood Boys is the new 24/7 champion, and R-Truth is hot in pursuit. Next was Viking Raiders absolutely murdering Hawkins and Ryder. No shock there. Then there was a in-ring promo from Rey Mysterio. It was basically basically thanking the fans for all the love and support since Ray and his son got beat up by Brock. And of course, Ray called Brock a bastard on TV, so yeah, pushing those PG ratings. Anyway, while Mysterio was talking, Paul Heyman got up on the Titantron and tried to send a message to Ray, but Ray said, "No, let me get something to your thick head." Or through your thick skull. There we go. I phrased it wrong. And that prompted Shelton Benjamin to come out. Shelton Benjamin then, belted out his entire history of being associated with Brock Lesnar. Oops, ignore that. Anyway, Yeah, basically dragging up the fact that they both attended University of Minnesota. Shelton Benjamin trained Brock Lesnar. Uh, they went to OVW together. Yada yada yada. So Shelton Benjamin then makes this point saying, okay, so Kane just shows up and he automatically gets a title match. So what happens if I shove you around? Do I get a title match? And he pushes Ray once. He's like, oh, that's a United States title shot. That's an Intercontinental shot. Just kind of backs him in the corner with what you going to do about it? What you going to do about it? And then that prompts Cain Velasquez to come out there and just beat the absolute shit out of Shelton Benjamin. Just annihilates him, takes him down, choke holds him, all that. Just leaves him, just turning tail and run. So yeah, add more fuel to the non-existent fire for Clown Jewel, as I'm going to be calling it. Next, we got to follow up on what happened with Booty Lashley and Rusev. So they cut back to the restaurant, and the manager is asking Bobby Lashley and Lana to leave, because Rusev's on his way and he doesn't want any trouble. Lashley laughs it off and basically says he doesn't have the balls to show up. And what happens later? Rusev starts showing up, and he starts swinging. So yeah, they get to brawling. About 15 security guards for that one restaurant then just decide to peel Rusev off of Booty Lashley and haul him off to jail. While Lana's screaming, take him to jail, take him to jail. So, at least Bobby Lashley knows how ridiculous this storyline is, and not in a good way ridiculous. Next, we had a promo from Seth Rollins. And while we're talking about Seth Rollins, can we just say, if he's not on the friggin' camera, can we just get him away from doing interviews and doing tweets? Because he makes himself look like a right ass. Like, there's that whole back and forth between him and Will Ospreay, right? Where basically Seth was just launching an unmitigated attack on Will Ospreay, who Ospreay seemed like he was just having a laugh about it. And then Seth Rollins made himself look like an idiot by dragging money into this. And then he more or less does it again when he talks about Mox going to AEW. It was kind of that. It was kind of that. Oh, he's my friend, and I want what's best for him. And we're now competing against each other. But that promotion he works for, screw him. They're just bottom feeding a-holes. So he's back up in the news because he was at one of the conventions and somebody asked him, "Oh, what do you think about facing Kenny Omega?" And he basically said, well, once Kenny's done playing in the minor leagues, he can come to WWE. Him saying that's like, okay, that's just free. That's a free story for anybody. Oh, Seth Rollins insults AEW. That's clickbait right there. So, that part can be forgivable. But then he just kind of shoves his own foot in his mouth, not learning his lesson. Because he said he can come to WWE, he can put on better matches against better opponents, on a much better stage, and make more money. Why do you keep comparing bank accounts, man? Why? It's not like bank accounts are a dick sizing competition these days. Anyway, yeah, Seth Rollins popped up for an interview. He walks in the frame with a big stupid grin on his face and then just goes somber, talking about how facing the Fiend would has warped his brain. He had to do whatever it takes to survive. And while he's getting interviewed, he kind of stares off to the distance and he spots Humberto Carrillo, who yeah, Seth Rollins confronts him, basically, says, you know what, it's good that you got championship aspirations. How about a match right now? So they put on a match, and it's another fantastic match. I actually cared about this match because Humberto Carrillo is really coming into his own. He's just fantastic prospect. Seth Rollins got the win over Humberto with the stomp. Surprise, surprise. After the match, Seth Rollins hopped back in the ring, and everybody thought, "Oh no, he's gonna go full heel and beat down Humberto." No, he just kind of shakes his hand and then walks off. So yeah. And then finally, we get to our main event as the OC, Gallows and Anderson, of course, with AJ Styles, took on the debuting Street Profits, who want all the smoke. Earlier on, the OC cut a promo clowning on the Street Profits, and I don't know if it was an actual crowd reaction, but AJ Styles said a corny line. He said, they want all the smoke. Well, there's anti-smoke laws here in Cleveland, so they can't have any smoke. And again, I don't know if it was a laugh track or if it was an actual audience laughter. And then I got even more confused because I think Carl Anderson made a dad level joke, and it was either an actual crowd reaction or it was a groan track because you heard a collective ugh. So yeah. So Street Profits come out. Their mystery partner is nowhere to be found, and of course the OC start clowning on them, calling their help non-existent, invisible, imaginary, or the fact that they couldn't get anybody because nobody's looking. They haven't put in the time. So we get to the match, and this was a barn burner of a match. Street Profits are, just a fantastic tag team. Gallows and Anderson, world renowned, all this, that, and the other. Down the stretch, however, AJ Styles got involved, and when when the referee tried ejecting him from the ring, and he was contesting it until Kevin Owens' music hits. He comes out there, just straight beelines it to the ring, hits AJ with the stunner, and of course that sets the former NXT Tag Team Champions to put away Carl Anderson for the win. The spinebuster into a frog splash, and just a fantastic debut for the Street Profits on the main roster. They got all of the smoke. Anyway, that does it for 3 Count on Monday Night Raw. You know what happens on Plug Time. If you miss Rod's opinions but hate his ugly face, he has a podcast, Prime Talk with Rodimus Prime, on the CastBox app. Go check it out. Anyway, that being said, I'm the greatest second place champion and the face of the 3 Count Mafia, War Machine MJ, and I will see you guys next time.